Big successful interview last week with Nerdrotic. You can find him on YouTube, over 1 million subscribers, who reviews pop culture. Pop culture. Because we had a lot of feedback regarding that interview. Comment section was lit up, and I want to go through some of it with you guys. First, let's start right here. Arcane5260 says, Will Kane is one of the decent ones, so good that he had Gary, Nerdrotic, Gary Beaker, on, regardless of the reviews gaming line. Then Griever Platt says, Gary reviewing gaming when he's not busy trying to open doors for 3 hours in games. He's talking about something like Minecraft or any other video game, I'm sure, where you can't open a door. And then Jeremiah Hernandez says, LMAO, every time Will mentions Gary as a gamer, did Gary tell him he isn't off air? So I did say that. I set Gary up as a gaming expert, and the comments were littered with this, okay? I'm tempted to say he's more of a gaming expert than I am, but then everybody in the comments are like, well, Will rattled off Tech Mobile, Madden, NHL, FIFA, Call of Duty, and GoldenEye that he had played in his life, which puts him above Gary. And so, you know what? I don't know what Nerdrotic's fan base calls themselves. I did see it in the comments. I can't remember what they call themselves. Whatever you call yourselves. Yeah, I got that wrong. Gary, not a gaming expert, but a pop culture expert. Hey, on that note, I asked Gary to give me 3 shows that I should watch. We're talking about everything's gone woke, corporate boardrooms, not just taken over by DEI, but DEI messaging is what's most important. And he gave me 3. He gave me House of Dragons 2, The Gentleman on Netflix, and Shogun. Well, I've seen The Gentleman on Netflix. Pretty good. I'll be all in on House of Dragons 2 because I liked House of Dragons 1. But this weekend, because he said that, I started Shogun. It's on FX. And so far, I love it. Now, immediately I remembered one of my best buddies has told me before, I have to read James Clavell's Shogun. So it's one of the best books ever. And I never did. And I love historical fiction. I love James McMurtry, Lonesome Dove. I like James Michener, Hawaii, Centennial. But I just never did Clavell. And it's a thing because they're like 1,500 pages. And so you're like, am I going to read 1,500 pages? But I mean, if you ask somebody of that who has read Shogun, they'd be like, no doubt about it, 1,500 pages, you got to read it. Well, I'm 2 episodes into Shogun on FX, and I love it. It makes me want to go back and read the book. I just love, this is about British, trade war with Portugal, and then the way it breaks through into Japan and the power struggles in Japan. It's awesome. Let's take a look at this. I can't do this guy's name. I'm not going to say it out loud. Gary coined authenticity as currency, then goes on Fox and treats it almost like FNT. That's Gary's show, Friday Night Tights, I think. Gary is the chillest big deal, and I'm happy for him. Almost 6 years watching him grind. Gen X Skeptic says, I'm absolutely rolling. Will is half smiling while looking at his producer as Nerdrotic is calling out fat, ugly lesbians on national TV. Holy crap, this is awesome. LOL. Well, I wasn't half smiling, Gen X Skeptic. I was laughing, and I don't have a producer with me. I'm in a room by myself. I've got a return feed over here that I look every once in a while and see the guest. So for better or worse, you should know something about this show. There are no powers that be, or they don't weigh in that often. So what I can say, or what guests can say, so far, no notes, no slaps on the wrist. I know this is Fox, but this is also not Fox. Welcome to the Will Kane Show. Let's go to this. E3 Op says, the look on Will's face when Gary said fat, ugly lesbians was priceless. Jay Buck says, the interviewer, that's me, was great. He let Gary talk without interrupting and asked some good questions. Thank you. I'm the new Howard Stern. Genuinely curious. Listen, thank you so much. The Movie Hangout says, Will Kane is based. He knows what's going on. Good for him having Gary on. Somebody needs to be the new Howard Stern. Good interviews, because he isn't that anymore. Not after that interview with Joe Biden. It's been that way for a while. He's sold out and gone soft and long since. Let's take a look. Tastier back in the 80s says, all that people are looking for is authenticity. He nailed it right there. And then look at this. David Hickman says, that is also why Trump has his appeal. He is authentically Trump. I think that's exactly right. I mean, he is who he is. Wears a suit into every situation he's in. Pretty much acts the same. I've met him off camera before, by the way. Same. I mean, love him or hate him, he's Donald Trump. Lauren Taylor says, fantastic segment with Gary. I really enjoyed the commonality of what's happening in nerd culture and what's happening in the sports world. As a sports and geek nut, I can attest that both guys are exactly right in their assessments in their respective realms. ESPN is a shadow of its former self at this point. Most entertainment franchises have been dismantled by, quote, the message. Independent studios, both sports and comics and games, are desperately desired by fans. Almost all the gaming journalist sites need to go away. That's a really good way to put it. The message. The message above all else, the message above creativity, the message above talent, the message above the fan, the message above entertainment. Whether or not it's gaming, pop culture, movies, television shows, music, or sports, the message has subjugated all of us. They're not trying to entertain us. They're trying to lecture us because they don't appreciate our business, the fan. They actually hate the fan. And then finally, yeah, we'll lean into this. Fine. Yeah. A proud American said, Gary said, don't mess with gamers. They'll weaponize their autism. Somebody says that needs to be on an FNT shirt. Xanaximus says, I can't wait for all the new viewers to witness the amazing professionalism we've come to know over the years. Every FNT. And then Culture Clash says, that was the greatest thing I've ever seen. Gary didn't hold back at all, and Will didn't make him pull back either. Absolute perfection. It was, I haven't held anybody back. Not The Rock when he wants to talk about politics, not Tony Robbins, not Dave Portnoy, not Stephen A. Smith, not David Sachs when he wants to debate the war in Ukraine or the rebuttal with Rebecca Heinrichs. No, all I want this to do is be alive and real. Kind of like, as people point out, the appeal behind Sydney Sweeney. Last one. The comment that I made, Sydney Sweeney and her fame and her stardom. She definitely has her assets. Haha, brilliant. Sydney Sweeney definitely has her assets.